What's going on, 5-9 Gaming crew? Lethal One up here, and guys, welcome back to another 5-9 Gaming weekly wrap. I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty hefty weekly wrap this week. More specifically, the final story that I had to share with you guys. We got 4 stories this week, but the final one, I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely a little hefty, a little bit bigger than I normally want to share with you guys. But it's such a crazy story that I think it's definitely worth sharing. And so I asked you guys to kind of stick around for the very last story because, again, it's a little hefty. But let's jump into this, starting with the very first story. PlayStation officially welcomes Housemarque and Nix's Software to PlayStation Studios. So congratulations, this is great news. But there's potentially more. So let's start with this. This comes from Herman Hulse from the PlayStation blog, as well as some information via Twitter. So developer of Returnal, Super Stardust, and Dead Nation, Housemarque, is the newest member of the PlayStation Studios, along with Dutch studio Nix's Software, who specializes in video game design, development, and porting. Some games they have ported over to the PC were Marvel's Avengers, Deus Ex, and the modern Tomb Raider trilogy, which is, I think, some of the more popular ones that they've done. But they've been around for what it looked like a long time. I don't know too much about them, but again, it looks like they were just around for a very long time. So it's great to see that PlayStation is going ahead and acquiring them, which is, again, it's great to, it's great for that news of the PlayStation games coming over to that PC. So I definitely want to toss out there real quickly, guys, let me know what games do you want to see PlayStation port over to the PC that isn't already there. But I think the other big piece of news here is apparently, according to PlayStation Japan Twitter, their account, they uploaded the wrong image with their first tweet on Housemarque's acquisition, and it actually mentioned a Bluepoint acquisition. It was a pre-rendered image. It had the logo on it. Like it looked pretty much official. And again, it came from PlayStation Japan. So again, it's not confirmed. It's not 100%. But I mean, if you already have all of that, I think it's official. I think everybody's kind of just like, it's got to be official, right? You don't go ahead and make it an image, right? And it's not, it's not official or anything. So I think in due time, we'll probably get that. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that like next week. I kind of feel like right now, tons of PlayStation news kind of just like coming up out of nowhere, and so it's nice. And so maybe they're slowly gonna just start tossing out some news to lead up to hopefully an event, because I think a lot of us here are dying for a PlayStation event right now, since we just got done with E3 and we're kind of missing some of that PlayStation action. But yeah, that was pretty much the big thing. I think a lot of people want to know what's going on with the software porting, with the Nix's software for the porting. What games can we see get ported over to PC? So again, I want to toss it over to you guys. Let me know down below what you guys think about that, and more importantly, what games do you want to see? Jumping into story number 2, Konami and Blooper Team have an official partnership deal. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. A new partnership between the Silent Hill publisher Konami and the medium developer Blooper Team will include jointly developing selected contents and exchanging know-hows, according to a statement released by Blooper Team. And in a separate press release, Konami said it was excited to work with Blooper Team and other highly regarded development partners to produce games from existing and new IPs. Interesting. According to people with knowledge of Blooper's plans, one of the projects that they're working on is Silent Hill related. However, VGC understands that Konami has already outsourced at least one other Silent Hill project to a prominent developer in Japan, and there could even be more developers working on their own projects. Now, for a long time, a lot of people, I mean, you still don't know yet, but there's a ton of people saying Kojima Productions, Hideo Kojima is working on a Silent Hill game, something we've talked about for such a long time, I think. So I think that's where, that's kind of coming from. But there's still more to the story. Blooper Team said in February that it was working on an existing horror IP from a very famous gaming publisher, fielding speculation that it could be reviving Konami's Silent Hill. While the studio did not reveal the identity of the franchise it was working on, Blooper Team's CEO told Gaming Industry Biz he believed it would cause quite a stir once it gets revealed. There's so much to take in with that. So it just sounds like, Blooper Team is going to be the ones working on the next Silent Hill game. I mean, that kind of pushes it to that point, but then it also kind of still sounds like Konami still has outsourced another project that could potentially be related, that is still Silent Hill, right? So there's still another horror game out there, and Blooper Team is obviously only known for the horror. As mentioned before, they just recently came out with the medium, right? So it just seems like they would be getting maybe here's what I was saying. They're probably gonna be working on a Silent Hill game, or maybe they're working on a spin-off or maybe a side game that somehow connects to the main game. it kind of sounds like there's potentially going to be maybe 2 Silent Hill games out there. Maybe one's like a mainline game, maybe one's kind of like a spin-off sideline game. I don't know, right? Who knows what it's going to be? But again, there's that one rumor that there's a prominent developer in Japan that is having something, you know, with Silent Hill, and now there's the whole, oh yeah, so here's Blooper Team, you know, they're working on something that is potentially horror based. Well, they're claiming it's a horror IP. There's just so much going on that I think it's going to be either Blooper Team working on this Silent Hill game, or maybe there's 2 Silent Hill games. I don't freaking know. Either way, Blooper Team is working on a game with Konami, so that is definitely confirmed. So for fans that are not happy about that, because there's some people who are like, I don't really want these developers to be working on the next Silent Hill game, but at this point, it does really push towards that direction. But again, who knows? Either way, it's interesting news. Jumping into story number 3, this was an awesome one. Again, I think I took a lot from this one. This is a little lengthy one too, I apologize. But Sucker Punch officially announces Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut arriving on the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on consoles August 20th. This comes from Andrew Goldfarb on the PlayStation blog. He says, "We're happy to announce that on August 20th, we'll be releasing Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on both PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. This new edition comes packed not only with the original game and every piece of additional content we've sold to date, but a brand new adventure for Jin alongside a bunch of new features that we're excited to reveal." Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut through a lot of the stuff that got announced that's coming with this Director's Cut. So Iki Island is a whole new chapter in Jin's journey that is coming and will take place again on the island of Iki. In this new story, Jin travels to the island to investigate rumors of a Mongol presence, but soon he finds himself caught up in events with deeply personal stakes that will force him to relive some traumatic moments from his past. Now, this new island also features tons of new content, including brand new environments to explore, new armor for Jin, as well as his horse, that's fire, new mini games, new techniques, that's fire, new enemy types, and much more. That's crazy. And there are even more and new animals to pet. That's a good added plus. Both platforms Director's Cut will also offer new trophies to unlock for the new Iki content. Cutscenes in Ghost of Tsushima and on Iki Island expansion for the PlayStation 5 will now offer lip sync for Japanese voiceover, which is really cool. Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and the new Iki Island expansion will all take advantage of haptic feedbacks, adaptive triggers in the Director's Cut. There will also be enhancements to 3D audio for the PlayStation 5, as well as drastically improved load times, 4K resolution options, and frame rates targeting 60 frames per second. This is the part that might get a little confusing, so bear with me here. If you already own Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 4, you'll be able to transfer your save to PlayStation 5 to pick up where you left off. For new players, the new Iki Island content will be available beginning in Act 2 of Ghost of Tsushima, and again, there's tons of other quality of life updates. Now, if you already own Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 4, you can pre-order and upgrade to the Director's Cut on PlayStation 4 for $20 US currency. This upgrade will become available starting August 20th. Now, starting on August 20th, if you bought the Director's Cut on PlayStation 4, you'll be able to upgrade to the Director's Cut on PlayStation 5 at any time for $9.99, so $10, again, US. You can also upgrade directly from the original Ghost of Tsushima's PlayStation 4 game to the Director's Cut on PlayStation 5 for $30. So essentially, I feel like if you bought this game obviously on PlayStation 4, which you would have at this point, and you're trying to upgrade to the Director's Cut for PlayStation 5, you're paying $30. And if you're not getting it for the PlayStation 5, it's essentially going to be a $20 upgrade to get the expansions and everything else. I think that's like the gist of it, because I feel like it gets complicated and people get confused. Even if I mess it up, you can let me know down below, but I'm pretty sure like the whole thing is here. The whole thing is if you have a PS5 and you bought this game on PS4 and you're trying to get that upgrade that includes everything with it, it's $30. Boom. Again, US currency. Now, the nice beefy lengthy story, which is number 4. Again, this is a pretty long one, so I ask you guys to kind of listen in and kind of just hang out, let your ears, chill out. So story number 4. robbing the Xbox vault inside a $10 million gift card cheat. This comes from Austin Carr from Bloomberg. Here we go. Microsoft lost millions of dollars worth of Xbox gift cards in an online scheme, but it turned out it was an inside job. Now, I'm gonna say his name one time and then go by his nickname throughout this entire article because I'm gonna say it probably super wrong, but I believe it's pronounced Volodymyr Kuvashak, who also goes by short Vova, which we're gonna just say Vova. Essentially, this story, it's about this guy right here. Okay, let's go and start it from right here. So Vova had recently begun a full-time job at Microsoft's headquarters in Redmond, testing the company's e-commerce infrastructure. Now, his team focus was to simulate purchases on Microsoft's online store, looking for glitches in the payment system. This meant making lots of pretend purchases in the store. Vova added a Dell PC to his shopping cart. He'd use this basically Microsoft provided credit card to complete the transaction and document any errors. The system knew the purchase was fake and wouldn't deliver the device to his doorstep. At least, that was what was supposed to happen. Then, Vova found a bug that essentially changed his life. A flaw so stupidly obvious that he couldn't bring himself to report it to his managers. Shaking my head. He noticed that whenever he tested purchases of gift cards, the Microsoft Store dispensed real 5x5 codes, which is what like those digital gift cards are, like those long codes. It dawned on him he could generate virtually unlimited codes, all for free. A former senior engineer on Vova's team, who, like other sources in this story, spoke on the condition of basically being anonymous to avoid being publicly associated with the wrongdoing that followed, says that this was the Halo Age equivalent of a Frontier bank leaving its vault unlocked. Sooner or later, someone's going to try to get away with taking $20 in quotes, the ex-Microsoft employee said. When they don't get caught, they figure all they need is 6 guys to empty out the safe one night when no other employee are around, basically. Now, Vova started small, generating Xbox cards in increments from $10 to $100, but his haul quickly escalated. By the time federal agents caught up with him almost 2 years later, he had stolen more than 152,000 Xbox gift cards worth $10.1 million and was living off the proceeds in a 7-figure lakefront home with plans to buy a ski chalet. I don't even know what that means. A ski chalet? I don't even know what that is. A yacht and a seaplane. But this past November, a judge sentenced him to 9 years in prison. That's nuts. Basically taking advantage and exploiting something that made this guy rich. But at the end of the day, guys, what does that show you? You will always get caught. I don't care what nobody says. Obviously, he thought he can, find a way to exploit that bug and everything, that glitch in the system, whatever you want to say. But he got caught regardless. But it's a crazy story because it kind of just goes to talk about the use of these digital gift cards and how there's still ways to kind of cheat the system, right? And still, be able to get away with certain things, or at least you think you're going to get away with certain things. But like I said, you always get caught, man. In the end, it's just not worth it. But it was a pretty big story, so we thought we'd share that with you guys. That's it. That's all I got. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's weekly wrap. Make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to the 5-9 Gaming channel. Make sure you check out our Twitch account, our Twitter, all our socials. Check everything down below. We also have a website. Go check out everything again down below in the details down below. But that's pretty much it. Again, I'm Lethal1Up. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next weekly wrap. Peace.